Hey Google, repeat after me.
What would you like me to repeat?
Welcome to Taco Talk.
Welcome to Taco Talk.
Hey, Google knows what's
Well,
up.
I think that says it all. Welcome to Taco Talk. I'm your host, Aiden Fletcher.
And I'm your host, Carson Kennedy. And this is our co-host for the day, Google Home.
Yeah, we're
Not a sponsor,
Good.
although
all good
I
things come in
wish.
threes. Yeah, we wish. Google, give us a call, please. I mean, we will drop Alexa. We will burn an Alexa to
we
get
will
your
burn an Alexa
sponsorship.
to get your Google Home sponsorship.
Well, the topic for today.
That's actually a good idea for like a comedy skit, like an Alexa v Google Home, like gang war.
Actually, Colin showed me one of those the other day. It's this guy, and he has two of them in the same house, and they're like his ex and his new wife, and they're arguing over stuff.
Bickering.
Yeah. It's Yeah.
What if you like got your Google to say like, "Hey Google, repeat after me," and then like say, "Hey Alexa, do something," and then they like have a conversation. That'd be disgusting.
And
Okay.
then say, hey Alexa, do something, and then you have a conversation.
Yep, you got it.
You got us, Google. You got us there.
She knows what's up.
You know, it's kind of scary having one of those things by my bed. I feel like one of these. That's how they get you.
That's how the government can hear you sleep.
Yeah. Here. Yeah. So last night, we're at the Fletcher household today. This is not
Yeah.
at our usual locale at Carson's brother's bedroom. Today we are at the Fletcher household. So Carson slept over last night, all right? And we're watching this movie. It's called Kung Fu Hustle. It's a comedy. I highly recommend. I highly recommend you watch it. Masterpiece of a film.
Definitely.
Everything you want in a movie is
I
in that
wish I
movie.
could have seen it all.
But so the thing is that Carson, it's 12:30. Carson went to Hamilton
Actually, yeah.
2 nights ago, right? And he got back at what did
So
he say?
I had no sleep
Mm-hmm.
the night before. I got back at had to wake up at regular school time. I got back at I got back at 1:30, but by the time I fell asleep it was probably around 2. And I had to wake up at 6:30 for school to get ready for that. So I got, if you do the math on that,
Very
that's 4.5
minimal.
hours of sleep.
Very
okay?
minimal. And so it's 12:30 something. We're midway through the movie.
I'm drifting
Climax
off.
is coming up, and he just nods off, right? And so I'm watching
He
it.
just nods off.
I'm watching and I figure, I better just turn it off. So I turn it off. I put my head on my beautiful memory foam pillow, and I hear,
Oh, flexing on
and
me.
I
I
hear,
see how it is.
I hear,
Bentley.
and I get up. His dog's name is Bentley, by the way. And I get up and I look at him. And I go, "What did you just say?"
What did you just call
And
me?
he goes, "Bentley."
Bentley.
And his eyes are closed. And then he goes, "Bentley."
Now, I don't even know if I believe Fletch.
And then I shook him on the arm. I'm like, "Carson, what is it?" And he goes up. Then he
I'm like-
gets out of it. And he wakes up.
I'm
And
like,
he goes,
"What?"
"Huh?" Like very tired,
And you're
very
like,
groggy.
You were just saying Bentley
And
in
I
your
was like,
sleep.
you were repeating Bentley in your sleep.
And I was like,
And so-
not again.
And so he looks at me. He goes, "Oh," and he lays his head down, face down into the pillow, right? And I go, "Okay." And then he sprints up and runs to the bathroom. I'm like, that bad, huh? And then I hear the faucet, and then he starts brushing his teeth, right?
Yeah, I've already been asleep for like 30 minutes at this
Yeah,
point. I
and then-
wake up, brush my teeth, come
And
back.
then he walks back, right?
And the funny thing
he
is,
just
at this-
sits down and gets on his phone and just starts doing stuff. I'm like, so you're awake
Yeah,
now?
the funny thing, I was wide awake. I just started watching YouTube.
Yeah. He ended up staying
I stayed up later than he did.
Yeah, an hour more than I did, which makes me a little worried, to be honest.
Yeah, who knows?
What? Yeah. You're like Google Home, which is what
I
started
was
this conversation.
I like pressed my ear up against your chest and was just listening to you breathe.
Bentley. yeah.
Yeah.
But, so tell me about Hamilton. How'd that go? I didn't really get the full
Hamilton?
down low on it.
It was good. I kind of was a little bit worried about it because at first I thought I didn't see it on Broadway, okay? For those of you who may think that, I did not see it on Broadway. I saw it in Buffalo, New York, at a theater called the Shea Theater.
The Shea Theater.
And I thought it was just that theater putting on their own production of Hamilton. So I was like, yeah, that's cool. But it turns out it's actually like part of the national tour of Hamilton. So it's like the official like Hamilton group doing it. So I was like, hey, that's pretty cool. But I knew it wasn't going to be the original cast. So I was kind of like, I don't know how this is going to be. And it was still amazing, okay?
Stellar.
There were definitely some people who were weaker than the people in the original cast. There were some people who were stronger than the people in the original.
Better than even the original cast.
Yeah.
So, like, how was the theater itself? Because I
theater,
mean,
classy, bro.
The Shea Theater,
yeah,
highly
it's
recommend.
Very. It's like everything's like gilded and there's like carpet. You know,
carpet,
fancy
carpet.
No, we're talking about like
gilded
the good
carpet.
We're talking about the good carpet, bro.
The good
like,
cush.
Shut up.
Were the seats, were they cushy enough for you? Was it?
Oh
that
no,
fancy?
they were cushy.
Oh yeah.
We were like in the closest section to the stage. Like I wasn't in the front row or anything, but the section of chairs. Was
you weren't in. You weren't in no mezzanine or balcony, is what you're telling me.
And like we were right behind the orchestra. So at intermission, we went down, looked at the orchestra. It's just classy.
Classy, very classy.
I didn't know what I expected. I mean, it's instruments. I know what instruments look like, but it was just cool seeing them.
Yeah.
It's not like I go down to the pit and there's Lin-Manuel sitting there. He's like,
"Hi, hello. I made Hamilton, by the way." But like, so I've always wondered when listening to Hamilton, like it seems like notable mentions of Hamilton's life, right? But what is there in between each song when you actually see it? Is there anything?
Well, I'm glad you asked that, Aiden. Absolutely nothing.
Really?
There's no dialogue, so if you listen to the soundtrack, it's just everything in the shows, everything on the soundtrack.
You miss nothing from listening to it except actually visually seeing what's happening.
Yeah, but visually seeing it adds
it's so
much more. So
understand a lot more of the story.
Yeah. The only thing that's sometimes in between is like they'll play a little bit of an instrumental in between songs, but that's just to reset the stage. Also, no, I lied. You will not get everything out of the soundtrack. There is one song in the show that is not in the soundtrack.
Really?
Yes.
I had no idea. Was it worth? Is it?
It's just a reprise of a song.
Yeah.
And it's wedged in between two really good songs, so it's not necessarily the best song. It's not bad.
Did the show make you tear up at one point? It
did indeed.
Really?
I didn't cry.
You did not fully cry. I've only seen Carson cry once in his life.
Yeah.
Once. Well, out of sadness. I've seen him tear up over laughter.
But I cry of laughter more than I cry of tears.
I've only seen him cry.
I guess
everything
is crying of tears.
But so the one time was when our soccer team lost a game.
I don't even play soccer.
Yeah, no, we just film it, right? We're the filming duo.
See, this is what I
think. Him more than me.
This is what I think it may be. Maybe I'm like an empathetic crier, okay?
Yeah.
Where I'm not sad, but I'm sad for people, you know? You know what I'm getting at?
Yeah. I get what you're saying. Like, kind of like when someone gets a flu shot, I'm like, I'm sad they have to get a shot. Like, I'm not about.
So you cry about it?
I don't cry about it, but like when I was little, like I went with my mom and she had to get a flu shot and she got the shot and I was like, ooh no, I don't like ooh like you put it on. I was like, ouch, like
empathetic pain. That's probably pain. A disorder.
Yeah, no, I don't like cry though. Like I've gone to funerals and not cried. I don't cry at anything like that.
I don't.
Movies, books.
I've been to 3 funerals. I don't cry.
Yeah, no. It's just
I laughed at most of them actually. Not at the service.
What a monster. Like, you're not empathetic at all. Zero empathy.
Yeah, you're right.
You're a robot. You're as bad as Google. Hey Google, repeat after me. Carson is disgusting.
Carson is disgusting.
You said it, Google.
Okay. Fight me, actually. Okay. You know what? One of my favorite things, I have a Google Home in my room, too. Fletch and I are similar in that respect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no Alexa.
Sometimes when I'm feeling down, I say, hey, Google, tell me a joke.
The missing sailor was a little too into swabbing the deck. I think he went overboard.
Oh, got him with that one.
Was that a little fart at the end? What was that?
I think maybe he's plopping into the water. I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to question the ways of Google. Google knows best, okay?
Google does know
Okay,
best.
who do you go for when you have a question on your homework? You consult in an encyclopedia? You ask Google, right? I mean, hey,
My
Google.
apologies. I don't.
What?
Okay, then.
Okay. You're...
Google, I think we're going to hang you up there for a second, okay?
Yeah, we're going to put you on pause, Google.
I'm going to unplug you.
Yeah.
Sorry, I can't help with that yet.
You can't help with anything. You're useless.
Yeah, I'm going to...
Okay, we're turning Google off.
We're
Distraction.
ready to hear the saddest sound you've ever heard? That's Google getting unplugged.
Google
That's a woman dying.
Google just... only to come back again one day. Okay.
Okay, let's get to our main topic. We've spent 10 minutes talking about Hamilton, Bentley, and empathy. So we're going to segue naturally into comedy.
Very naturally.
Into comedy. What has
stand-up
fueled
comedy. That's what we were talking about.
Our creative our creative life over the years. So
before you start,
things we want to touch on. Comedy, how it's inspired us. How we use comedy in our daily life, and little boys. You pick up on that one? I wonder if they did. I feel like
that was more of an inside joke. You had to be here.
Well, I said things to touch on. Now I think they get it. Do you get it now? How has comedy inspired you over the years, Carson?
It hasn't.
Really? Well, I guess that's the episode then.
Well, thank you so much for watching Taco Talk.
Yeah, this has been Taco Talk. Yeah, goodbye.
I mean, we're done.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, you thought...
So we're back.
That was a kid. That was a goof and a gaff. We do actually like comedy. You know, one of my favorite comedians, Mike Birbiglia, once said, you shouldn't have to end a joke with one of two things. I'm joking or get her done.
I'm joking.
Like when you're joking, it usually, when you say, I'm just joking, usually ends up being bad. Like, nobody likes you. Just kidding. Like,
just kidding.
Like, if you have to explicitly say that it was a joke.
Yeah. My parents, though, they don't appreciate my form of comedy.
Really?
Because sometimes I'll say something, and I'll usually get, like, one of two reactions. It'll either be, like, my mom being like, why do you have to always be so sarcastic? And I was like,
gosh.
It's in my blood, okay?
No, this is what my mom does. I'll say a joke, and she goes, you really think you're funny, don't you? Nobody else does. And I'm like, Mom! No, because if she says that, it means the joke has really gotten to her in a way that's, like, profoundly awful. Like,
which means it's probably a good joke.
Yeah. It's like, it has really invaded her soul, right? So,
she spends her nights just thinking about it.
I'd say my mom is not the stand-up comedy person. I sat down with her the other day, and I started watching one I thought she'd really like. Not even a chuckle. She laughed at the part
Not even an exhale out of her nose.
She laughed at the part that wasn't a joke. It was telling a sad story. And she giggled.
That wasn't a joke, but thanks.
Yeah. But...
yeah.
But my dad's the more... I also want to say I'm just kidding about the mom one. She didn't laugh at the sad story. She just laughed intermittently at a part that wasn't a joke.
I got you.
Yeah, just kidding.
I understand that.
But
sometimes I'll show someone a YouTube video and they'll laugh at something that's like not that funny, but like not laugh at the thing I think is hilarious.
Yeah. The thing that comes on and I'm like, that's the hard hitter. Complete silence. And I'm like, did it go over their head? I don't know. But I think the person in my household that's really inspired me as far as comedy goes is my dad. He's the kind of, he loves stand-up comedy. I remember when
Tell me more about that.
When I was 10, he sat me down. He's like,
said, son,
I have a...
You're not funny.
No, I think I was 8, actually. 8 years old. That's younger than my little brother now. He sat me down and he said, Aiden, I have a movie for you to watch. I'm like, what is it, Dad?
What is it?
And he's like, oh, it's the English version of James Bond. Actually, I guess that's James Bond to begin with. It's the funny version of James Bond. I'm like, really? What's it called? And he's like, Austin Powers.
Oh, my word.
He sat me down and had me watch all 3 Austin Powers movies when I was 8. Dad,
I haven't even seen all 3.
Yeah, you're the best. I mean, good on you. And I think, like, he really inspired me to get into it when I was younger. I remember the first that I really started watching. I memorized the whole special. 45 minutes long. It was Jerry Seinfeld, right? Seinfeld was my first, okay? And I loved it. I ate that up, okay? And then I saw a comedian was coming to town. And by town, I mean New York City.
By town, I mean like miles away. Like this was ages ago.
Yeah,
okay?
yeah. So, that's an inside joke about another comedian that we're going to touch on later. But, so, I'm like, okay, Dad, who's in town? He's like, oh, Bill Cosby.
You know.
This is before found out.
This really ties back to the previous joke.
Yeah.
Quite nicely.
Yeah, it does. Things to touch on.
I don't want to repeat it.
But
Fletch.
before we found out he was a rapist, not before he was a rapist, but before the public was like, oh.
In the words of Mike Birbiglia, okay?
Yeah.
He's like, he was doing a little thing about how some of the greatest comedians used a lot of bad language.
Yeah, he was like, my favorite comedians, Richard Pryor, George Carlin, they all swore.
He was like, I'm really torn because on one hand, he's like, some of the people I love, the comedians I love most, all swore. And it was like, and on the other hand, the ones who didn't swear were like quite evil people. And then he started laughing. He was like, I think it's hilarious. Everyone in the crowd all at once mouthed Bill Cosby to themselves.
Yeah. I just, like, and the thing about it is that it was funny when I watched it. Like, I laughed. Yeah. I enjoyed the Bill Cosby show. And then a few weeks later, the allegations broke. I was like, psh, that ain't it, Chief. That ain't a thing. Oprah Winfrey said that ain't a thing. So I'm going to believe that.
The queen of daytime.
Exactly. The queen of daytime.
Genius.
And so then I found out there were like 50 allegations. I was like, okay, maybe he did it. Let's say he did it. I mean,
let's say he did it.
Everybody has a skeleton in it, and then it got to 70. I was like, yeah, no, I don't like Bill Cosby.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing, I do believe in separating the artist from the art in times like this. But in this case, I don't listen. Like, Bill Cosby, is he a funny guy? Yeah, Bill Cosby's funny.
I've never consumed any form of Bill Cosby entertainment.
I don't listen to it anymore.
Not because I'm like, I hate that guy. I just never.
No, I've just, I mean, still, I showed Colin that Jerry Seinfeld thing the other day, and I tried to get him into it. But yeah, I'd say comedy has had a big impact on my life. Who inspired you to get into comedy?
Inspired me to get into comedy? I wouldn't necessarily say there's one person who's like, you need to get into stand-up comedy, okay? Mm-hmm. But probably 2 of my siblings, Landon, when he was kind of my age probably, and he was watching a bunch of stand-up comedy, he would just kind of laugh, tell some jokes from it. He wasn't necessarily saying that I should watch it, but he enjoyed it, and he told me he enjoyed it.
So, like, you say back when you were younger, for those viewers at home, I'd say about yay tall. Yeah.
What's the yay conversion metric?
About 50 about here's. Right?
1 yay equals 50 about here's.
Yeah. That's the conversion.
You heard it here. Put that on a t-shirt.
I'm more of a yay guy myself. I'm yay and metric are my 2 favorite.
Shut up. But anyway. Okay, you're distracting me, you scum.
From the main goal here.
Probably another person was, I don't necessarily know who did it, but someone introduced my sister, who introduced me to what is now my favorite comedian.
Yeah, what a good soul, whoever did that.
And
We owe them so much.
I'm not gonna say the comedian's name because that's for a later part we have.
Mm-hmm.
But if you know me, you have probably heard me tell jokes from this stand-up comedian.
Innumerable times.
You probably knew it, and you probably didn't even realize I was doing it. You probably just thought, like, that was a weird thing to add to the conversation.
No, he just breaks into it.
Yeah, I just burst into it. And people were like, what are you talking about? Your wife?
No,
I start talking from his...
Sometimes, I've been doing that recently, too, with, like, okay, right now, my favorite comedian is Mike Birbiglia, right?
What a guy.
What a guy. But my favorite comedian by far. And he's a comedian that I find insanely relatable. Like some comedians, their work, it's not as my favorite comedian's work is relatable, okay? But there's some, it's like a joke. There's certain jokes that you can't really apply to everyday situations. In this case, he's insanely quotable. So I'll find myself just bursting into to a rendition of one of his things just on the spot, like stuff like that. And you do that quite often.
Yeah, I do that more than you know.
Yeah, I know. Like you just
and not just stand-up comedy, YouTube videos, memes, anything.
Yeah, and
it's hard to separate myself.
Good segue
from the comedy.
Into and like I feel bad when I'm doing it because I almost feel disingenuous saying this joke that this person years it took him to hone and create, and then I'm just repeating it with a bad delivery to some kids at school, and I think that segues very well into our next one. How do you use comedy in your daily life? Because I know I use it every single day. There's not a day that goes by without a joke.
Well, the main one is probably I have like a YouTube channel.
Really?
Yeah.
What's its name?
I have a YouTube channel with my one friend. And
YouTube.
We like YouTube.
YouTube. Watch Hello on Hello on Broadway. That's you'll get that.
Yeah. Also. Hello, hosting the Oscars.
Yeah. So
anyway, the person who is my favorite comedian, like we just found this out like 20 minutes before recording this video. Yeah. They have been asked to host the Oscars this year.
Yeah, John Mulaney and Nick Kroll.
I mean, two of my favorites.
Two of again the two of the best comedians in this current stand-up climate have been asked following the stepping down of Kevin Hart. And as far as comedy skill and prowess goes, it's a step up. A step up. I mean,
Kevin Hart
say what
is not
you will.
Bad. It's just he just tries to appeal to.
Well,
it's like
he's funny, but as far as like
it's like mom and dad comedy.
If you were exactly,
it's for older people. It's for all ages. It's more general.
Yeah, it's general, but I also think it's not as personal.
Yeah.
And if you were gonna say like,
Kevin Hart's too famous to make good comedy.
Kevin Hart, like and John Mulaney, if you were to say if their stand up was a painting, John Mulaney's would hang in the Louvre. And Kevin Hart would be in the school,
like in every
school art show. Yeah, it'd be the thing that you can look at and it doesn't like you can look at and be like, oh yeah, that's good. But then you go to the Louvre and you're like, oh my god, no, that's something. That's what I think.
Want to know something interesting I heard about the Louvre?
Tell me about it.
So, we're going there for the French trip next year.
Yeah,
all my siblings who have seen it
a year and a half ago.
All my siblings who've gone said that Mona Lisa.
No.
Terribly underwhelming.
It is. It's insane.
Terribly underwhelming.
I went
They're
to
like,
see it.
oh, cool. It's just a small little thing.
When I went to see, its size, it's insanely small. When I went,
might as well just light it on fire in the middle of the museum.
Yeah, we went through this. There's this long hallway leading up to Mona Lisa, right? And it's filled with these amazing paintings.
But you're like, gotta blow past them, gotta see Lisa.
Amazing paintings. Like in comparison, all of them I liked better than Mona Lisa. We walk through, and then there's this huge room packed with people. These stupid fat American tourists of all shapes and sizes.
Stupid fatty American.
Fat American. No, but like Hawaiian shirts aplenty. But, so
why would they wear Hawaiian shirts in France?
So I scooched through.
They should be wearing like baguette shirts.
Khaki shorts and the whatever the hat is called with
a visor.
Yeah,
sun visor.
But they walk through. I scooch through all these people and finally get to the front. I hold up my camera and I take a picture and then I look at it. I'm like, I'm not into it. And then like
that's the only reason you went to France too.
Yeah,
was just to see Mona Lisa.
Exactly, you're right.
What a waste of money.
What other reason is there to go?
I mean,
but and then I stepped a little too far over the line, I guess. Someone like a little push a shove, and then this Frenchman with a huge handlebar mustache comes up and he says, "You move out of the line.
You move out of the line.
Move out of the line. You
like,
step
hey,
over line. You get move out of line."
You should have been like, "Hey, white flag, calm down. Who would want this? Who would want this piece of trash?"
Hey, can you just give me a warning? He's like, "No, move out of the line." And so I moved out of the line. And he was like, "Get out of here." And so
Get
I
out
did.
of here.
And so I did. I did. The stupid American. It was terribly underwhelming.
Terribly underwhelming.
Which is what a lot of people say about me,
but yeah.
actually.
Anyway, really pulling back, really threading the needle back to what we were talking about.
I'm not good at threading
needles.
needles.
My sister introduced me to the stand by some connection. Someone introduced someone who introduced my sister, who introduced me. And then after watching all of his stuff, it really just...
It clicked.
It branched out from there into other people.
I know that, like, I said back when I was like 8, 9, 10, I was really into stand-up comedy.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, like in middle school, I really wanted to do a stand-up comedy bit for the talent show, but all of my favorite comedians swore, and they swore often. So it was like, maybe not. Maybe
and even if they didn't swear, the subject matter is not always
maybe I'll hold back on that one, right? And so I did. I mean, and throughout the years, I've always been a fan, but it wasn't really as pronounced as it was when I was younger. But recently, I'd say within the last year,
I'd say, Dubs?
Yeah.
No, Dubs? Dubs is one of our friends.
An acquaintance.
He actually did stand-up comedy, like his own stuff he wrote for his talent show at his school.
That's quite impressive.
And apparently, he was like,
good. Well, congratulations to him. Shout out if he's watching.
Dubs.
I think tremendous courage to get out and do that in front, because
especially your own stuff.
The thing about stand-up comedy when it's your own stuff is this: like, you can watch a movie and say, "I didn't really like it. It wasn't my style." Like, I mean, it was okay, but it's not like they're hating. For the director, it's not like they're hating directly on you. They just didn't like the premise. But if someone says, "I didn't like you as a comedian," I mean, I didn't like your stand-up bit, they're basically saying, I didn't like you. Because it's all about you. It's a very personalized art form.
Yeah.
I mean, so that's what, like, I've tremendous pressure to get up and do that. And, I mean, I'm sure I would bomb my first show. It's definitely something I'd want to do at one point. I think it'd be a good experience.
See, this is my strategy. Whenever I try something new, I purposely fail the first time. And I fail bad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just so the next time I can only go up.
Exactly. Yeah.
No, I don't actually do it. I was totally kidding.
But I mean, bomb early, so you
bomb early.
Bomb later.
And bomb early and often.
Bomb early and often. That's not good advice for most situations.
That's the official slogan of
that'll get you kicked off an airplane. Okay.
That was the official slogan of the Empire of Japan in the 40s.
Bomb early and often. Too soon. Yesterday was Pearl Harbor, Carson. Yeah, the anniversary of Pearl Harbor was yesterday.
I guess monster. It was.
Oh, zero. Exactly. Talking about empathy, he has none.
If there's one thing about us at Taco Talk,
it's heartless.
We're timely.
Yeah, it's that we're timely. Good news is always timely. Yeah, to work in a news agency, you must be.
No news is better than bad news, which is not actually always true.
You're right. Like, I mean,
I feel no. I know where I'm drawing that from. That's from That's from one of the series Unfortunate Events.
Which is a very good show. I highly recommend you
and
watch
a good book series.
Yeah, I actually only read the first one, but I do love the show, and I should give the book series a chance. I definitely think, as far as going back to using comedy every day in our life, I don't know. It's just been, I like the feeling of getting people to laugh.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just, let me put it in the words of my favorite stand-up comedian, Mike Birbiglia. He said, so my crush, right? She had to call me every night because of alphabetical order, Birbiglia Bazzetti, for homework, right? It was a thing they did in my class. And so one night she calls me and we're talking and I make a few jokes and she says, "Mike, stop. I'm gonna pee." And I was like, "All right. That's good.
Let's run with that.
Let's run with that. I want to make that happen more often." And that is how I got here, telling jokes to you people. And I was like, I think that's very true. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if it's something about like social insecurity or I don't know what, but I just like getting people to laugh.
Sometimes I tell too many jokes.
You're completely right there. Not just on my side as well. I'm talking about
I was like,
me.
Geez, really let me have it, Fletch.
No. I'm saying I tell too many jokes, and as far as again bombing, it's an awful feeling when a joke does not land and you really wanted it to. You know what I'm talking about?
Especially when it's not like a joke, but like a story.
Mm-hmm.
That's supposed to be funny.
When it's long, and then at the end they're like, "I didn't get it." I was like, "Oh, well, okay. I don't like you."
That's how I feel.
That's how I feel. That's one of my favorite quotes from Mike Birbiglia's stand-up special, My Girlfriend's Boyfriend, which its title is very optimistic, isn't it? My Girlfriend's Boyfriend.
It's not talking about him. He is not his girlfriend's boyfriend in that example.
In this example,
it's another guy. Okay?
Yeah. So he was dating this girl, and she said, "Why don't you come over and meet my parents?" And so he did. And he goes over to her house. He's talking with their parents and everything. And then this guy comes in, and he matches a lot of the description of his girlfriend's ex. And then she comes over to him and she says, "Yeah, I actually didn't break up with him because his family's a little sick and it was a bad time." And then she said, "I wish it could just be us here." And he was like, "But you could make that happen." It's not like at a company. It was like, "I wish I could do it, guys, but the boys at corporate." And so then at one point, the guy is like, and so then the boyfriend is like, "Why don't we go to my house?" And so they go and they do. And so it's an indescribable feeling meeting your girlfriend's boyfriend's parents. And then I loved it so much. The person, the amount of the personal level of his jokes is just I don't know,
off the charts.
You know, New Jersey, what an awful state.
Massachusetts. In my house, that was the joke of the year.
I think we're telling too many of this man's jokes.
This is another thing. Sometimes I'll say inside jokes around people who don't get it. Even if it's like I'm the only person in the group who understands it, I'll say it to myself and laugh. I'll be like, I'm funny.
Sometimes I'll just be walking and not.
I may be psychotic, actually.
I'll be walking. Yesterday, Jonathan, our good friend Jonathan,
he was on
Carson,
the show. You know him.
Carson and I. Watch episode 5. Carson and I, we were ringing
our
bells
best episode, probably.
in front of Tops for the Salvation Army because we're good kids.
We're good people.
And we're good people. And so I had to go get a tissue. I'm still sick. I've been sick every single episode.
You were in there for a while. You're definitely shopping.
So I walk in, right? And I'm walking through, and I realize, like, if you've ever been to a supermarket during the daytime,
like
on a weekday,
11 to 1,
it is only geriatrics, only old people, right? Old, like, wheelchairs and aplenty, right? And then I just start thinking of this joke in my head, and I just start saying random words out loud as I'm walking that deal with the joke. I do that all the
time. I build stand-up comedy bits in my mind about things that are happening.
As I've been watching more and more stand-up comedy, I've been starting to think about certain situations and like stories in a stand-up comedy mindset. Like when I thought back to the thing about Bill Cosby, I'm like, that could be a good stand-up bit. Like, I remember my dad, he first took me to see one of my favorite comedians at the time. I was so happy. We sit down in the seat. I'm in New York City. Best day of my life. And I went to see Bill Cosby. Everyone laughs. And I'm like, I know. I am in the future also.
I'm in the future also. You stole that
from Mike Birbiglia. But
yeah, another thing I do. The person who's now one of my good friends. Okay, she said that when we first started becoming friends, she was convinced that I hated her, and it's because I was so sarcastic and told so many sarcastic jokes. She actually thought I had a dislike for her.
There are times when I wonder if people know I'm joking, and that leads back to the thing no joke should have to be ended with "I'm joking" or "I'm just kidding." Like something like that.
I'm just joshing.
I'm Johnin', bro.
You Johnin', bro.
But like I
shout out to Hurricane Guppy.
We have
you know who you are.
This friend, let's just call her Soap Hampson. and so I tell her every day.
Soap.
I tell her every day. I say, Soap, I hate you. I mean, in various contexts.
But sometimes I mean it. Sometimes I don't.
But I wonder if there are times when I wonder if she knows that I'm completely joking with her, and other people like that too. You tell a joke so sarcastic, but also so mean spirited. This is the kind of joke that my mom's like, you really think you're funny, don't you?
Well, you're not.
Well, you're not, okay? That's not funny. Stop, that kind of thing when I
not funny.
So sarcastic. But that's another inside joke. This is perfect. You see, that not funny leads back to
the thing about Taco Talk is Fletch and I, we're talking into a microphone. There's no one else in the room.
No.
So we think it's okay
it's just a conversation
to say inside jokes.
Exactly.
But we're starting to realize that's not always a good thing.
You know, it's also, I find it weird, because I'm not directly addressing you. I'm also addressing our audience, which is not in front of us.
Yeah, but sometimes right now we're just looking straight at each other.
We're looking at each other, and I'll glance at the microphone, thinking it's a person, looking at hi microphone.
Strong silent type, huh? This microphone's just looking back at us.
Yeah. What do you have to say, microphone? Huh? Hey Google.
Look at that with that long neck.
That's one nice neck microphone. We're getting off topic. But in that case, not funny.
Not funny.
That's a complete inside joke based off a John Mulaney skit involving Mick Jagger. But, the
man's name is Mick Jagger.
And you're asking me if he's a jerk? Yeah, he's a jerk. His name's Mick Jagger. I remember I was writing a joke for him, and he looks at it and he goes, not funny!
Yeah. John Mulaney, he used to work for Saturday Night Live. Yeah. Mick Jagger was the guest host that night. Mick Jagger, how do you describe him? He's British, he's abrasive, you know the guy.
He's not the most good-looking person either, I mean.
So, essentially, he was writing the jokes with Mick Jagger in the room, they're going over it together, and he would be like, not funny, or, yeah.
You're like, yes, not funny. Or another one, they had to construct lyrics for a song, right? And he's like, what rhymes with food? Dude, no.
No.
Mood, yes.
Yeah.
Is that how you construct a song?
But anyway, what we just gave you listening was an example of when we talk about inside jokes in front of other people, and we're the only ones to get it, and then other people feel it left out.
Well, we laugh dying of laughter, it's the funniest thing. When
Fletch and I have gone in on so many, we've consumed so much media together. There's a lot of inside jokes.
Oh, quite a few.
We've had a lot of personal experience. There's a lot of inside jokes.
There's a lot of material there. And I think
sometimes they don't even have to be full sentences.
No,
they can be 2 words. Fletch will be phrases.
Crying. Yeah, just for okay, perfect example. Yesterday,
the other day, I said you're old, and Fletch lost it. I'm not gonna explain why he lost it, but he did.
So we were ringing. This is another great example. We're ringing bells in front of Tops yesterday, and this old man comes up and he gives us $1, and I say Merry Christmas, and he points at this 1996 Buick that's coming at us.
Watch out!
With an old veteran in the front, because he has this veteran hat, and the guy goes, "Watch out! It's the mafia." And I'm like, okay. And
He's like, no. You're like, oh no, in the Buick.
And the guy's like, yes.
He's like, yeah, in the Buick. The mafia's coming for you.
And so
why he said that, we'll never know.
Yeah,
like we didn't.
Maybe
it's not like we're standing there in like Italian classy suits with like guns and stuff. And
yeah,
like,
it was
out.
just like
like we were part of like some
mafia.
other gang, and like he was like, watch out, the mafia
rival
coming.
gang coming for the riot.
Like we're about to have a turf war over the Tops parking
the
lot.
Salvation Army's ringing bells, but Goodwill comes up like, no, you aren't. And
the mafia comes up. These are bells.
These are our bells.
There was nothing to prompt him to say this.
Yeah, but he just comes up and says it, and we're at the Native Bagel.
Yeah, so
right?
then we went to a local
establishment,
local storefront,
the Native Bagel, and we're eating. So I'm scrambling. We get it, Frank. That's another inside joke. So we're eating. And
my sister got off work. This was in the middle of the school day. We got off school. She got off work. So we decided to eat lunch. And we were telling her the story about this guy who's like, watch out for the mafia. And then Fletch goes, and I'll never forget this. He goes,
I knew him. Well, I didn't know him.
Yeah, he says, I knew the guy. I didn't know him. And then we don't understand what he's trying to say. We died laughing.
What I meant by that was like, I'd seen him I'd seen him around town, right?
I'd seen him around town.
But I didn't know him. Like
I knew the guy, but
I didn't know him.
Like
I knew him, but I didn't
That's how I feel about you sometimes, Fletch. Like I know you, but like do I honestly know you? Like I don't know.
That is so profound. It's insane. I have tears coming out of my eyes. Hey, Alexa. Google.
Google's unplugged.
What's the meaning of life? That's almost poetic. She's unplugged. But yeah, I think let's talk about who down the list. We've given a lot of honorable mentions throughout, but who down the list are our favorite comedians and ones we think you should listen to?
And try to get them in order. Okay. For you, Fletch.
Number one right now for me is Mike Birbiglia, the one I've stated multiple times. In fact, I'm looking to, I think today we're going to buy some, he has a new show on Broadway called The New One. I'm really interested in seeing it, so I think I'm going to buy we're going to buy some tickets and take the whole family down and watch it, which I'm a little hesitant for Colin to see, but
because Mike Birbiglia, he doesn't. It's a mixed bag with him.
His content.
It's always good.
It's always good. Sometimes
varying levels of appropriateness
and mature. Yeah, varying levels of maturity in it, and swearing content. Which honestly, the thing about swearing is like kids can hear it around the house. But then the moment someone else out of the house says it, they're like, "Oh my gosh, it'll poison his ears." Like, but I think Colin will be fine. I don't think it'll rock his world his maturity world too much. I think it'll like it. But I really want to see it, so I think we're going probably in January.
Scooter loving tyke as always.
Yeah, another inside joke. But Mike Birbiglia is my number one. What would you say for you?
Number one is the comedian I was alluding to earlier, the one I was first introduced to, John Mulaney.
Yeah,
he's such a stud.
He's amazing, and he has
a lot of his stuff aren't even jokes. It's just
comical stories.
His mannerisms in his stories is just
exactly.
It's all in the delivery for him.
Delivery is very important, and there's a certain style all comedians have. You can see this with comedians like Demetri Martin. Or
he's one of my he's not on my top 5 list
yet, but up and coming. Mike Birbiglia and John Mulaney, Bo Burnham, all of them, they have very specific styles. Like you can listen to it and say, yeah, that's Mike, or that's John, or that's Bo.
Classic Bo.
I think they all dress a certain way too. Mike is the kind of guy that he dresses with he's the kind of guy that he's stated this before, would look, if he looked in the mirror as he was leaving the house, which he doesn't, he'd be like, come on, that, like an angry ref a crowd yelling at a ref, and he comes in what he comes in, right? He just wears what he wears. John is very, very, he wears a suit every time. Every time he wears a suit. Bo, t-shirt,
sweater.
Yeah, and some jeans.
He looks good,
but
not formal though.
Exactly. All of them are very comfortable in what they wear though. I think they all have a certain presence about them. It's just
Yeah.
style.
Yeah.
So Mike, John is on my top 5 list too. I haven't listened to some of his work
my
in a
number
while.
2 would have to be Bo Burnham.
Bo
There's
Burnham
a lot to say about
is
Bo
a
Burnham.
genius as far as comedy goes. I think how he
It's not for everyone.
Definitely
it's
not for
specific.
everyone. But how he seamlessly blends music into his work, and he's very meticulous about it. He has every second of his show planned down, like every word. He's not the guy to ad lib. Many of our comedians we like they go off the rail a little bit and ad lib.
Yeah, and you can tell it too,
because they'll laugh at the joke because they just came up with it on the spot. But Bo, very meticulous down to the second. And
that way with Dimitri as well.
It's amazing how they do it. I would not be able to be that precise.
The one thing I love about
almost OCD
Bo Burnham is that he got his starts on YouTube, which is very inspiring.
Inspiring
to us at Taco Rock.
Bo Burnham was the first YouTube star.
Yeah.
Not many people remember it because this new generation of YouTubers.
So he
revolutionized the platform.
There's something in Bo for like people who don't understand like the internet.
Yeah.
But people who like really understand what's funny with the internet, like they love Bo. That's where I am. I watch a lot of the popular YouTubers who are not like completely corporatized. You know what I'm talking about?
I know what you're talking about.
Like Bo just gets it, man. He gets what's actually funny for people.
Bo is. I like his style. His
newer style.
I keep saying style. It's hard to put a precise definition on it. The kind of jokes he tells, it's very
his pizzazz.
Yeah. I mean, like Dimitri's very deadpan delivery. Well, no, he's not deadpan. That's a different guy I'm thinking of. Dimitri's very matter of fact. He tells jokes that are small. Does not tell stories. Just like 1 to 4 sentence.
Yeah.
That's the joke. John, Mike, they'll tell these long, intricate stories that have this beautiful pay. Like with Mike and My Girlfriend's Boyfriend, the ending is just it's art, but like it all depends on how they do their work. Next for me, you have Bo, which I fully agree on. I'd probably call him my number 3. My number 2, and he only has one special out right now on Netflix entitled Humanity. He's not a big fan.
Humanity.
I don't know why
I called it that.
Not a big fan. But Ricky Gervais. He's an actor. Some will know him as the person that created The Office, the UK version, which was later brought,
the
of course, to the
inferior
US.
version.
Inferior.
It's still
yes.
good, I'm sure.
But
inferior.
But without the British Office, there would be no American
Office. By the way,
Office.
Ricky Gervais is my 3rd place. Gonna save some time there.
Yeah. Yep. I just think his
The thing that's funny about Ricky Gervais, one, his accent.
Yeah, I know with some comedians,
it's just funny, okay?
An accent can make it or break it for me, which is awful. Like I'm sad I can't get around it, but like there's some British accents that just sound too proper for a really dirty or raunchy joke.
You have to have a good voice.
Exactly. It all depends on voice.
But in the example of John Mulaney, I listened to 2 of his older
have
specials,
an
and he had like a higher pitched voice, and I got so used to that when his newer one came out, Kid Gorgeous,
rocked your world.
It was much like he hit puberty at 35. I swear, like his voice was suddenly deeper and like gruffer. I was like, I didn't like it at first.
You know what
he
said actually? He said that back when
he's like a man.
He said it's actually gone higher over the years because back when he was younger, he would smoke a lot.
Yeah,
and so his voice was very gruff and deep, and it would. Bleh. But as it he starts, so it's weird that you've noticed such a. I haven't watched it in a while. I'm sure maybe if I were to rewatch all of them in order, I'd get it. But Ricky. He was really like when I this new wave of me watching stand up was one of the first that really did it for me. I watched it with my dad and we were both
first time
in
I
tears.
watched it was with you.
Yeah, at my
your house.
And it's just amazing. There are no boundaries with him. I love his opinions on how far a joke can go. And for him, there is no limit. There is no I believe firmly there should be no limit on free speech, but though there is free speech, there is not freedom of consequences. That's my personal opinion on it, and I think Ricky would agree with me there.
Yeah, like I don't know.
He just
he
endlessly quotable.
He
too.
will say he's not scared to tell jokes. Okay?
No.
Like,
okay, perfect example.
No. What do you?
The one that he told Jane. You know the one I'm talking about.
No.
The classic.
Fletch.
Yeah,
No.
this is just a quote. I'll give him a little taste. Okay.
No.
Okay.
No, I don't like this.
What did the deaf, dumb, blind orphan get for Christmas? Cancer.
Now I'm gonna come in with some context. So the context of this was he was about to host an award show.
Yeah.
And he was thinking of some jokes, and to kind of rag on his girlfriend a little bit,
Jane.
he made up all these like very terrible, like people should never tell these
mean-hearted,
jokes,
mean-spirited jokes.
and he was telling them to his girlfriend, saying, "I'm gonna say these on
But
stage," he was not going to say them.
Ironically, like not
The part of the joke, the funny part of the joke is not that this kid has a terrible life. The funny part of the joke
is that
he's trying to tease his girlfriend by telling terrible jokes.
Not even Bill Cosby has enough tranquilizer to put down this magnificent beast. Please welcome Melissa McCarthy. Like they're very
tying in with the previous joke about
Bill Cosby.
See what we did there? We're
he's
genius.
a rapist, but I just think yeah. Next on your list, what would you say?
Well, I already said Ricky Gervais was my third,
but fourth is what I'm saying.
Fourth. Your first, Birbiglia. We already talked about him.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen. I like his style. It's not like a guy who always is making me laugh out loud like the people on the top three.
Mm-hmm.
This is where it kind of drops off a little bit. Not saying he's not good, just not in my top three for sure.
Mm-hmm. So I went Birbiglia, Ricky. I'd probably give it to Bo after that. I really like Bo. The way that he seamlessly blends.
Yeah, I think the reason I like Bo more is because I'm more of a music guy.
And again, it's very personal. His shows are very personal. It's something that you really have to watch.
His subject matter is both ridiculous and also very serious at the same time.
Very, especially if you read into it and get the deeper meaning, the crescendo of all of his shows at the end.
Yeah, the one thing I love about it, he'll start with a silly song, and you're like, haha, that's funny, and then he'll hit you with one line, and you'll realize that what he's not actually talking about is this preposterous joke.
He's not talking at
like one line. He reveals like what he's actually thinking, like a serious subject matter, and you're like,
in one, he's singing a song about how his can doesn't fit into a Pringles can, and how his burrito has too much stuffing that you can't.
Yeah,
wrap
so
it.
you think he's just
talking about a burrito?
Yeah, but then he hits you with the line. And the real intent of that song is he talks about how he has way more serious problems than burritos and Pringles.
Yeah,
but so much things in media has to be dumbed down for people to like really want to relate. Mm-hmm. So instead of like actually doing what he wants to do and like reveal what's in his mind, like he just does this like dumb. Lame
like
comedy.
Producers that like approach him and be like, "Hey, I like your stuff, but I think
like
you
what
should completely scrap your style and tell jokes only for millennials," like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And like with the burrito, that doesn't like also talking about his life, in which he has so much that is now on his plate, so much that has been forced onto him with this new sense of superstardom that has come along with being an insanely famous comedian. That it doesn't fit anymore. Anxiety almost of not having enough space in your life.
Yeah, speaking of anxiety, his new movie, 8th Grade, haven't personally seen it.
No, neither have I.
It
really want to.
Rave reviews,
and
though.
Not only rave reviews, but it's on the Golden Globes, which, I mean, I'm not one for award shows such as that.
Yeah, I don't like award shows.
I will be watching this year's Oscars because of Nick
John
Kroll
Mulaney and Nick Kroll are hosting.
Because they will inevitably make it a show to remember. I'm sure of that. And I'm sure there will be a few questionable moments. Well, not questionable for me. Questionable for the mainstream media. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But
because they don't get it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And I'd say I have to end off with one of my dad's favorite comedians, a master in his own right.
Master in his own.
What's that from? Master Blaster?
Probably from a lot of stuff.
Yeah, but there's a movie forget about it. Forget about it.
I knew the guy.
I didn't know the guy, but I'd say now I can't remember his name. Master Blaster. Jeez, Carson.
Chappelle?
David Chappelle. David Chappelle is such a master. He started in the late 90s. Mid to late 90s was when he really started to grow in popularity, having height in the early 2000s. Then he got quit from his show, the Chappelle Show. He quit from it. For reasons that have never fully been revealed. But, I mean, he lied. And a resignation.
There's actually...
An intentional resignation that cost him millions and millions of dollars.
You saying that just now made me appreciate a lyric from a song. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to explain it, but thank you, Fletch.
You're welcome.
You've deepened my understanding.
And so then after that, he took a hiatus and went to Africa for like 10 years. And then, I mean, he
Why
lived
didn't
there.
he go to, like, connect with his roots or something? What was it?
Not fully explained.
No one knows?
No, just went to South Africa.
Chappelle's got class, I gotta say.
Chappelle
He's not in my top 5. He's got class.
Like, when I say he has style, not only does he have, like, this comedy style, but he has style, man. Like, I appreciate him in many ways. But then
The one thing about his style I do not like, though, is I do not like him smoking on stage.
Oh yeah, he does. Like
it's a little bit distracting. And two, those poor people in the front crowd.
Yeah, he'll roll.
They have to smell whatever he's smoking.
Like
the entire
he'll roll
time.
a joint, which I mean, marijuana infamously does not smell like peaches and roses.
Yeah, infamously smells not
like
great.
Skunk and
like cat pee. Like skunk, not good.
And he vapes often, which I mean I doesn't. Like, that wouldn't smell as awful. Yeah. But still, I mean, for you, I can imagine, I guess it would be distracting. I view that more as him being comfortable, very comfortable with the stage. Because the level of comfort that you have to be at to get on stage and just be like, hold on a second, and roll a joint on stage is like, that's pretty... You're pretty comfortable with the crowd you're with.
Because he's good and he knows it.
Exactly. I mean, like not to the point where he's what's the word? Like he's too self-absorbed and like he only thinks I'm the best, knows better than me.
Yeah.
And like, but he knows that at this point he's good at the art that he does.
I'm not gonna go into the specifics of the joke, but the one I watched, it was like equanimity. Equanimity. Anyway, he was like, I'm so good at writing jokes. He was like, that's not me bragging, it's true. He was like, I'm so good at writing jokes that sometimes I want a little challenge. So what he did is he put a bunch of punchlines in a fishbowl. He pulled it out, and then he wrote the joke backwards. So he told the audience the punchline first.
Which I don't think is very appropriate to release on this.
And then later in the show, he tied it in twice, actually.
Yeah, and it was very good. He does such an amazing job. I think no matter what you say about his style of comedy, and whether you cannot argue that he's a master of of what he does.
It's not necessarily my top 5, but I respect that. Mm-hmm. My top 5. This guy, I've only seen 2 of his stand-up things. Mm-hmm. He's not necessarily... Now, this is comedians, not necessarily stand-up comedians. We've been talking a lot about mainly people's stand-up stuff. But... this is also
branches
a
into
good actor
film
in 2 shows that I've enjoyed. Mm-hmm. And his stand-up is good, too. Aziz Ansari.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The star as Tom Haverford in Parks and Recreation. My favorite...
And also his own show, Master of None.
Yeah, Master of None. Have you watched that yet?
Not the entire thing.
I've watched both seasons. I haven't
really started it, but yeah, I've
both seasons. It was a little hard for me to get into at first, but then once I got into it, it was such an honest representation. So like it was amazing. It's like one of my favorite shows on Netflix. I definitely don't think it gets enough credit. Well, it gets a lot of credit. At rave reviews, like 100% on Rotten Tomatoes, but it doesn't get enough notoriety, I'd say. Mm-hmm. Not enough people know about it.
Yeah.
For me to be like, it gets it to do. I don't think it gets it to do. It's a very good show, and he's a very good actor.
But there's a fine line too. Like it's all, like once people start catching wind of it, it just becomes worse. Mm-hmm. Shows generally. Yeah, no,
because I think it also could be a bit of the stress put on you to release a good product.
Yeah.
It makes me worried.
And also, once things become popular, it only like people think they are like the biggest fans, the bandwagon people.
The bandwagon people.
I don't know why that makes me upset, but it just does.
Like
if you think about it,
I'm happy and I'm mad. I'm happy, like, finally, it's getting what it deserves. It's getting the representation, the appreciation that it deserves.
Yeah, but at the
I'm
same
also
time,
like, these people haven't been with it since day one. They don't fully understand. Like Marvel.
I don't know if there's anything I've been with since day
Not
one.
Not since day
okay?
one, but, like, been, like, a long-term fan. Like, for example, Rhett and Link, I could say. Or Casey Neistat. I subscribed to both of those when they were below 1 million subscribers. And then after that, like, huge influx.
It's probably because you subscribed that they so popular.
Because of my efforts, they became so... You're welcome, Rhett and Link and Casey Neistat. But then after that, they became very famous.
All y'all out there subscribing, in the hundreds of subscribers, you guys, when we're like inevitably at like 90 million subscribers,
y'all ain't no normies, is what we're saying.
Yeah, people are always worried that T-Series is gonna pass PewDiePie. No, you just watch. We'll pass T-Series then PewDiePie. Next month. Mm-hmm. So
next
you just
month.
Watch out.
Easy. Not even.
Actually, we were looking at some statistics the other day, and at the rate we're going, we will hit 1,000 subscribers on June 6th. 2021.
Hey, I'll have my license. No, but
let's
look on the bright sides of things.
Yeah,
but
you guys can change that though.
Yeah,
okay?
You can change that. You can make the difference. You know what I'm saying?
You could go the distance.
You can go the
But yeah, so those are our top 5 comics.
To defeat
comics in the context of stand-up.
Did that song, they send me
that song's really good.
When I asked for sons.
That song's really good, but it's been so normalized now. Everyone listens to it now, and they're like, "Oh, it's the best Disney song." It is the best Disney song, but I'm just glad that everyone else.
I think Lin-Manuel did an amazing job with Moana, though.
I think Frozen's better than Moana.
What? No. That's another episode right there. Moana's infinitely better than Frozen, but
we will be premiering
our
debate series soon.
Actually, we did want to talk about that. I some people were telling me that they would be very interested in a debate at one point.
Yeah,
an actual debate.
So we kind of wrapped up the comedy portion of the episode.
But I think talking about our channel segues perfectly.
Talking about our channel. Well, let me start by saying this. So we started this channel in like September. And it's almost December, which means it's almost the end of 2018.
Yeah.
So typically, for shows, you would do an entire year of a show, and then a new season would start. We're just gonna start season 2 of Taco Talk, like we're gonna have this seasonal thing, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We're gonna start season 2 of Taco Talk at the start of 2019, so we can kind of start fresh.
Ring in the new year.
So we're going to start doing more stuff, first of all, and
definitely more. I wouldn't say don't expect us to have don't expect a regular upload date, because that's very hard to do.
That's hard
but do expect just more content in general.
More content, and like Taco Talk will try a different segmented format.
Yeah.
So
we'll experiment, you know. But we are very excited. I'm more excited than anything, right? As far as new season, about our new project, our film, first Taco Rock original film, of which Carson is holding the script, entitled...
Let me hold it up to the microphone so you guys can see.
Yeah. Entitled A Murder on 34th Street.
Now...
And... I'm not gonna really... We aren't gonna really say too much what it's about.
Yeah. It's a play on words on A Miracle on 34th Street.
Yeah. It's in
Christmas
its first
movie.
Draft.
It doesn't nothing's actually on 34th Street.
No, there's no
34th Street.
Just a catchy name.
It's fictional. Okay.
But here, I'm not going to tell you the exact story. I'll give you a few clues. I'll read down the character list.
No, don't do the characters. Just kind of explain kind of what it is.
Okay. We have 2 detectives, who Donner and Michael. Or Carnegie, whatever you want to call him.
A Carnegie.
They're 2 detectives, right? 2 homicide detectives. We have
they detect.
Yeah, they
homicide.
detect. And one of my other favorite characters on the list is Vito Corleone. You'll see how he plays in. But it involves, very roughly, a snowman being murdered.
Mm-hmm.
The most heinous of crimes.
We have, oh Lord, we have.
Bum bum. But we have
a good, over 15 pages
we have,
of script here.
It's 18
pages. It's not going to be a really long movie.
No, we're looking
18
for
may
like
sound like a lot, but
10 minutes.
10 minutes
at the I'm not going to say at the most.
It's not going to be. It may not necessarily be a 10-minute long video at most.
Yeah, I'd say it's because like sure you may have a long script, but translating that into actual celluloid, that becomes even less.
It's always shorter than you think it is.
Yeah.
So realistically, this may be 6 minutes.
Yeah. So you can expect. I'd say you could expect a trailer around Christmas time. If you're really lucky, we might have the full film. We haven't started filming yet. Production officially starts today. If we're very lucky and everything goes perfectly and we get a lot of snow, you could possibly, very optimistically, see a Christmas.
It is very dependent on the weather.
December 25th release date. But worst comes to worst, sometime in January, I'd say, depending all on weather.
And which kind of sucks because a lot of it is about Christmas, but it's not the end of the world. It'll still be funny, even if it's not Christmas.
Yeah, and I'm sure there will still be a few decorations up well into January. Well,
it's not like we'll be filming in January.
Exactly. That'll mainly just be editing time, which takes a long time, trust me. But
hey Fletch, where's Pico to Gaming, huh?
Like and comment if you want to see Pico to Gaming. I still haven't even started editing.
Also, that's kind of a meme. Pico to Gaming. Yeah. We have an episode. Fletch has just never edited it or uploaded it.
Maybe I will sometime. But
New Year, you can expect some
more uploads as far as that goes.
I think we as
mainly
a group
just
realized
that
gaffes. As Taco Talk gets more structured, not disingenuous, but more structured, okay? Pico to Gaming will still stay off the rails because that's how gaming videos are meant to be.
Yeah.
Gaming videos should never be planned or scripted. Mm-hmm, the only thing that should be planned is the game you're playing.
And okay? It's not like we have a script for this. There are times during Taco Talk where we stop midway through, pause it, and some of you have noticed the pause and been like, Carson, I can't talk anymore.
Yeah.
And then we
most of the times we pause is because Fletch has said something very controversial.
Yeah.
You guys haven't even heard some of the stuff this boy has said.
I've said some pretty bad stuff on Taco Talk, and got a lot of goofs and gaffes, but
from the two of us. But there's some things we just cannot put on there.
Yeah. So I think that announcement is a good way to cap off the episode. Yeah. Thank you very much for watching, staying with us for a full hour and 7 minutes. Probably going to be 8 by the time this is edited and stuff.
Yeah, but also, we would really like to hit 1,000 subscribers sooner than 3 years from now. So, subscribe.
Yeah. Thank you again.
Tell
I can't say it enough. Gracias, mis gringos. But
gracias, mis gringos.
Yes.
Did I do it?
Yeah.
Did I speak Dominican?
Yeah. Good for you. Good for you. You spoke it. But thank you very much, and good night. In the morning.
Yeet.
Thanks for tuning in to the latest installment of Taco Talk.
Can't wait to see you in the next video.
It's been a pleasure to talk taco with you taco-loving people.
If you want to watch the previous video, check the link in the description or the box on your screen. Catch you later.
Y hasta luego. That was good, right?
Yeah.
I forgot to turn it off.